Good morning, my dear children. So, as you people have requested me to take the classes which we have already taken in the college, let's start revising our second module. So, the second module, today we will be dealing with the part 2 of the second module, that is admixtures. So, this is syllabus of the second module. The first parts deal with concrete, the second part deals with admixtures, third part deals with making of concrete, and the fourth part deals with concrete quality control. So today we will be dealing with admixtures, its types and uses, plasticiers, accelerators, retarders, and the water reducing agents. So as we know that admixture is defined as a material which is other than cement, water and aggregate. As we know that in concrete we will be using cement, water and aggregate. So in spite of all these, we will be adding admixtures also. So they are used as an ingredient of concrete and it is added to the batch immediately before or during the mixing. So these admixtures will be added to the batch of cement, water and aggregate either just before or during the mixing. They are used to modify the properties of ordinary concrete so as to make it suitable for any situation. So these admixtures will modify the properties of concrete. Sometimes it will be strengthening, okay? Sometimes it will be accelerating the hardening process. Sometimes it will be retarding the hardening process. So depending upon the requirement of what we need, we will be adding these admixtures. So actually these admixtures include water reducers, okay, plasticiers, super plasticiers. These super plasticiers and plasticiers are of recent origin, okay, and basically this system or these admixtures are developed in Japan and Germany around 1970s, and later on they became popular in USA and in European countries, okay, and in India it has become popular recently by 1985. And why we are using this plasticizer, as I already told you that it is to modify the properties of freshened and hardened concrete, okay, and it will ensure the quality of concrete during its mixing, transporting, placing and curing. And also suppose we have to overcome certain unexpected emergency and all, so we need only this concrete to set in a lag phase. On such situations, we will use retarders. So they are basically used to increase the slump and workability. It retard or accelerate the initial setting. It reduce or prevent the shrinkage. It modify the rate or capacity for bleeding. It reduces segregation. It retard or reduce heat evolution during early hardening, and it also increases the strength. So these are the basic necessities why we are using this admixtures. It also will decrease the permeability of concrete, okay, so that the water which infiltrate into the concrete will be less. Then it will increase the bond of concrete to steel reinforcement. So it will increase the bonding, so the strength of the concrete will also be high. And it also increases the bond between existing and new concrete. It improves the impact and abrasion resistance. It inhibits the corrosion, okay, and it also produces colored concrete. See, these are the admixtures, common admixtures which are generally used. Concrete admixture, which is a chemical, okay. So basically there are two purposes, that is to modify the fresh property or to modify the hardened property, okay. So in the case of the fresh property, to modify the fresh property aspect, we have already discussed it, that is it increases the workability without increasing the water cement ratio or decrease the water content at the same workability. It retard or accelerate the time of initial setting. It reduce or prevent the settlement or create slight expansion. It modify the rate or capacity of bleeding. And how it modify the hardened property? It reduce the heat of evolution. It accelerate the rate of strength development at early stages. It increases the durability and it decreases the permeability of concrete. So basically these admixtures are classified into two types. One is chemical admixture and the other one is mineral admixtures. So the types of chemical admixtures which are basically used are plasticiers, superplasticiers, retarders and retarding admixtures, accelerators and accelerating plasticiers, and air entraining admixtures. Then grouting admixtures, air detraining admixtures, gas forming admixtures, corrosion inhibiting admixtures, shrinkage reducing admixtures, water or damp proofing and permeability reducing admixtures. So there are different types of admixtures which are available right now in the market. So the chemical admixtures, the basic admixtures which usually we are making use of is this air entrainment, water reducing, set retarding, accelerating and superplasticiers. So we will deal it with one by one. Okay. So when these are added to the concrete in a very small amount, that is basically for entrainment of air, reduction of water or cement content, plasticization of fresh concrete mixtures or control of setting time. So basically we are using this admixture for all these purposes. So what is this air entrainment? An air entraining agent introduces air in the form of minute bubbles distributed uniformly throughout the cement paste. So it will introduce air in the form of minute bubbles. Okay. So the main types include salts of wood resins, animal or vegetable fats, and oil and sulfonated hydrocarbons. Entrained air is intentionally incorporated. Minute spherical bubbles of size ranging from 5 micron to 80 micron is distributed evenly in the entire mass of concrete. You can see this. So the air voids present in concrete can be brought under two groups: air entrained air and that is entrapped air. Entrained air and entrapped air. So air entraining agents, it includes natural wood resins, which we have discussed right now, that is animal and vegetable fats, and oils such as olive oils and fatty acids, and also various wetting agents such as alkali salts or sulfonated organic compounds, etc., water soluble soaps or resin acids, etc., and miscellaneous materials such as sodium salt or petroleum sulfonic acid, hydrogen peroxide, aluminum powder, etc. So air entrainment. The major proportion of commercial product is based on the following chemical material set out in order for a probable decreasing use, which includes this air entrainment agents basically includes this abatic and pyrimic acid salts, fatty acid salts, alkyl aryl sulfonates, alkyl sulfonates, phenol ethoxylates. Then factors affecting the air entrainment. So this air entrainment is being affected by the type and quantity of the air entraining agent which we use. Then also the water cement ratio of the mix, type and grading of the aggregate, mixing time, temperature, type of cement, influence of compaction, admixtures other than air entraining agents which are being used. So these are the main factors which affects the air entrainment. Then how this air entrainment will affect the properties of concrete. This air entrainment will affect directly the following three properties of concrete. That is increased resistance to freezing and thawing, improvement in workability, and reduction in strength. So what are the advantages of using this air entrainment admixtures? It will increase the durability of concrete. It reduces the bleeding and segregation because of the bubble acting as extra fine filler attachment of air bubble with cement particles and linking them. This increase in the interparticle attraction caused by absorption of air entrainer and increased total surface area of constituents relative to water volume. Water flow between cement particles is restricted. Workability is increased due to action of air bubbles, etc. Plasticiers. These admixtures, that means the water reducing admixtures, are used for the following purpose. That is to achieve a higher strength by decreasing the water cement ratio at the same workability as an admixture free mix, and to achieve the same workability by decreasing the cement content so as to reduce the heat of hydration in mass concrete. Okay, so basically it will achieve a higher strength by decreasing the water cement ratio. Okay, and it achieve the same workability by reducing the heat of hydration in a mass concrete. Advantages is that they increase the workability of the concrete without reducing the compressive strength or without changing the water-cement ratio. Okay. Then high strength can be obtained with the same cement content by reducing the water-cement ratio. A saving in the quantity of cement, that is approximately up to 10% of the cement, could be saved and can be achieved keeping the same water-cement ratio and workability. So this is basically to increase the workability so as to ease the placing in accessible location. Water reduction more than 5% but less than 12%. The commonly used admixtures are lignosulfonates and hydrocarbonic acid salts. Plasticiers are usually based on lignosulfonate, which is a natural polymer derived from wood processing in the paper industry. Then action of plasticiers. The first one is the dispersion action of plasticiers. That is, the Portland cement being in a fine state will have a tendency to flocculate in wet concrete. These flocculation entrap certain amount of water used in the mix. When it is used, they get absorbed on the cement particles and create particle-to-particle repulsive forces which overcome the attractive force. So, it disperses the cement particles. Okay. That means the particles will be dispersed. This repulsive force is called Zeta potential, which depends on the base, solid content, quality of plasticiers used, etc. When cement particles are deflocculated, the water trapped inside the flocks get released and now available to fluidity of the mix. Next is regarding the lubrication. The agents are organic by nature, thus they lubricate the mix, reducing the friction and increases the workability. So first one was the dispersion. Okay. The second functioning is lubrication. Okay. Then, how is retarding effect? The plasticiers get absorbed on the surface of the cement particle and form a thin sheath. This sheath inhibits the surface hydration reaction between water and cement as long as sufficient plasticiers molecules are available. Quantity of plasticiers will decrease as the polymer becomes entrapped in hydration products. And the following mechanism will also take simultaneously, that is reduction in the surface tension of water, induced electrostatic repulsion between particles of cement, lubricating film between cement particles, dispersion of cement grains, releasing water trapped within the cement flocks, inhibition of the surface hydration reaction of the cement particles, leaving more water to fluidify the mix. Then superplasticiers. It is developed in Japan and Germany. It's chemically different from the normal plasticiers and each will reduce water by 12 to 30%. And the mechanism is more or less same as the plasticiers. The basic advantages with it is the cement content can be reduced to a greater extent keeping the same water cement ratio. This will lead to the economic use of cement. Then water cement ratio can be reduced significantly keeping same cement content and workability. This will lead to increase in the strength. The higher workability at low water content, water cement ratio, like casting concrete with a heavy reinforcement. Reduction in permeability. Early strength development is required in pre-stressed concrete or casting a floor. This could be used. This the superplasticiers. This is a low fluidity one. That is a flocculated. This is a deflocculated one. So you can see this deflocculated one. High fluidity. Then intermediate fluid, dispersed in less water. Intermediate fluidity. Even cements plasticiers are added. They flow in concrete with very high slump in the range of 7 to 9 inches to be used in heavily reinforced structures. Advantages is it is significant water reduction, reduced cement content, increased workability, reduced effort required for placement, more effective use of cement, more rapid rate of early strength development and increased long-term strength, and it will reduce the permeability and the high passing ability. Okay. Disadvantages: additional admixture cost, slum loss greater than conventional concrete, modification of air entraining admixture dosage, less responsive with some cement, and mild discoloration of light colored concrete. These are the disadvantages of using the superplasticiers. Because additional admixture, because this superplasticiers will be a bit costly. Then slum loss greater than conventional concrete. Then modification of air entraining admixtures dosage. Then less responsive with some cement. They may not get blended with some cement. Then mild discoloration may also occur. Examples are the copolymer of carbolic acrylic acid, cross-linked acrylic polymer, polycarboxylate ester, multicarboxylate ethers, then combination of all the above. Now we are moving on to the retarders. Retarding admixtures delay the hydration of cement, to delay or extend the setting time of cement paste in concrete. These are helpful for concrete that has to be transported to long distance and helpful in placing the concrete at high temperature. These are used in casting and consolidation of large number of pores without the formation of cold joints. These are the set retarding. Then it is used in grouting oil wells. It is commonly known retarder is calcium sulfate. Appropriate amount of gypsum to be used must be determined carefully. Use of gypsum is recommended when adequate inspection and control is available. Otherwise, addition of excess amount may cause undesirable expansion and indefinite delay in setting of concrete. So retarding, one advantage is improves the workability, cohesion and extends setting time, provides protection against delays and stoppages and facilitates keeping workable concrete for extended period of time. So it will improve the workability, cohesion and extend setting time. It provides protection against delays also. In the large construction, good workability of concrete throughout the placing period and prevention of cold joint is ensured by adding retarders in the concrete. Extended setting time minimizes risk of long distance delivery in hot weather, improves pumpability of concrete by extended setting period and improved workability of concrete. The set retarding advantages include reduced bleeding and segregation where poor sand gradings are unavoidable. It reduces adverse environmental effects of various nature on concrete and embedded steel by considerable reduction in permeability. Retarding plasticiers. Many a times, this extent of retardation of setting time offered by natures will not be sufficient. So instead of adding retarders separately, retarders are mixed with plasticiers or superplasticiers at the time of commercial production. Such commercial brand is known as retarding plasticiers or retarding superplasticiers. So they may be added along with this plasticiers or superplasticiers instead of adding it separately. And retarding plasticiers or superplasticiers are important categories of admixtures used in ready mixed concrete industry for the purpose of retaining the slum loss during high temperature, long transportation, to avoid construction or cold joints, slip form construction, regulation of heat, of hydration. Next, we are moving on to the accelerators. Accelerating admixtures are added to concrete to shorten the setting time and increase the rate of hardening and strength development of concrete. It increases in the rate of hydration of the hydraulic cement. These are used in cold weather condition. Some widely used effective chemicals that accelerate the rate of hardening of concrete mixture includes calcium chloride, other chlorides, triethanolamine, silicates, fluorides, alkali hydroxide, nitrites, nitrates and formates. Benefits of accelerators is it reduced bleeding, earlier finishing, improved protection against early exposure to freezing and thawing, earlier use of structure, reduction of protection time to achieve a given quality, early removal of foam, and in some cases early load application. Accelerating plasticiers. Certain ingredients are added to accelerate the strength development of concrete to plasticiers or superplasticiers. Such accelerating superplasticiers, when added to concrete, result in faster development of strength. The accelerating materials added to plasticier or superplasticier are triethanolamine, chlorides, calcium nitrites, nitrates, and fluorosilicates, etc. The accelerating plasticiers or accelerating superplasticiers manufactured by well-known companies are fluoride-free. Accelerating admixtures advantages include shortens the setting time of cement and therefore increases the rate of gain of strength. It enables earlier release from precast molds, thus speeding up the production. Reduces segregation and increases density and compressive strength. Cures concrete faster and therefore uniform curing in winter and summer can be achieved. Reduces water requirements, bleeding, shrinkage and time required for initial set. The mineral admixtures include cementitious, pozzolanic, ground granulated blast furnace slag, fly ash, silica fume, rice. We know that chemical admixtures and mineral admixtures are there. These mineral admixtures include all these things. As we know that the air entrainment will affect the properties, that is we have already discussed, that is reduce the tendency of segregation, reduces bleeding, decreases the permeability, increases the resistance to chemical attack, permit reduction in sand content, water content, and reduces unit weight alkali aggregate reaction modulus velocity. That is regarding our air entrainment. Okay. So what are the ecological advantages of this mineral admixtures? It include the power, like ecological advantages include power plant using coal as fuel and metallurgical furnaces produced cast iron, silicon metal and ferrosilicon alloys are the major sources of byproduct that are being produced at the rate of millions of tons every year in many countries. Dumping of this byproduct into landfills and streams amounts to a waste of the material and causes serious environmental pollution. Disposal as concrete aggregates or for road-based construction is a low-value use which does not utilize the pozzolanic and cementitious potential of those materials. So instead of dumping all these materials somewhere, this could be used in the construction industry. That is how we make use of this mineral admixtures. Advantage is that it has been amply demonstrated that the best pozzolana in optimum proportion mixed with Portland cement improves the many qualities of concrete such as lower the heat of hydration, increase the water tightness, improves the resistance to attack by sulfate soils and seawater, then improve the workability and it will lower the cost. So the natural materials have been processed for the sole purpose of providing a pozzolan. Processing usually involves crushing, grinding and size separation. In some cases, it may also involve thermal activation. The byproduct materials are not the primary product of the industry producing them. This industrial byproduct, that means fly ash, can be used. This is our artificial pozzolans. This fly ash, blast furnace slag, silica fume, rice husk ash, metacholine, surki. Fly ash is finely divided residue resulting from the combustion of powdered coal and transported by the flue gases and collected by electrostatic precipitator. It is most widely used pozzolanic material all over the world. The importance and the use of fly ash in concrete has grown so much that it has almost become a common ingredient in concrete. The utilization of fly ash as a supplementary cementitious material. The use of fly ash as concrete admixture not only extends the technical advantage to the properties of concrete but also contributes to environmental pollution control. There are two ways that the fly ash can be used. One way is to intergrind certain percentage of fly ash with cement clinker at the factory to produce Portland pozzolana cement, and the second way is to use the fly ash as an admixture at the time of making concrete at the site of work. One of the important characteristics of fly ash is the spherical form of the particles. This shape of particle improves the flowability and reduces the water demand. The suitability of fly ash could be decided by finding the dry density of fully compacted sand. See, fly ash. So, use of the right quantity of fly ash results in reduction of water demand for reside slab. With the reduction of unit water content, bleeding and drying shrinkage will be reduced. Since fly ash is not highly reactive, the heat of hydration can be reduced through replacement of part of the cement with fly ash. The reduction of temperature rise for 30% substitution of fly ash. High volume fly ash concrete, where 50 to 60% fly ash is incorporated in this case. Okay, and it was developed for mass concrete application, where low heat of hydration is a primary consideration. It was for subsequent work has been demonstrated that this type of concrete showed excellent mechanical and durability properties, which are required for structural application and pavement construction. Due to very low water content of high volume fly ash concrete, the use of superplasticizer become necessary for obtaining workable concrete. Use of air entraining admixtures is also concurrently used. Sufficiently cured concrete containing good quality fly ash show dense structures, which offers high resistivity to the infiltration of deleterious substance. It is also recognized that the addition of fly ash contributes to reduction of the expansion due to alkali aggregate reaction. These are silica fumes. Silica fumes, also referred to as microsilica or condensed silica fume, is another material that is used as an artificial pozzolanic admixture. It is a product resulting from reduction of high purity quartz with coal in an electric arc furnace in the manufacture of silicon or ferrosilicon alloy. Silica fumes arises as an oxidized vapor. It is further processed to remove impurities and control particle size. silica fumes. It is extremely fine with particle size less than 1 micron and with an average diameter of 0.1 micron. And it's about 100 times smaller than average cement particles. It has become one of the necessary ingredients for making high strength and high performance concrete. Silica fumes was also used for one of the flyovers at Mumbai, where for the first time in India, this concrete was it was used. Then influence on fresh concrete is that water demand increases in proportion to the amount of microsilica added. Therefore, 20 mm maximum size aggregates concrete containing 10% microsilica will have an increased water content of about 20 liters per meter cube. Okay. The measures can be taken to avoid this increase by adjusting the aggregate grading and using superplasticiers. And how it influences the fresh concrete. The addition of microsilica will lead to lower the slump but more cohesive mix. The microsilica makes the fresh concrete sticky in nature and hard to handle. It was also found that there was a large reduction in bleeding and concrete with microsilica could be handled and transported without segregation. It is reported that concrete containing microsilica is vulnerable to plastic shrinkage, cracking, and therefore sheet or mat curing should be considered. Rice husk ash. The rice husk ash is obtained by burning rice husk in a controlled manner without causing environmental pollution. When properly burnt, it has high silicon dioxide content and can be used as a concrete admixture. Rice husk ash exhibits high pozzolanic characteristics and contributes to high strength and high impermeability of concrete. India produces about 122 million tons of paddy every year. Each ton of paddy produces about 40 kg of rice husk ash. There is a good potential to make use of rice husk ash as a valuable pozzolanic material to give almost the same properties of the microsilica. This rice husk ash. Then is surki. Surki was the commonest pozzolanic material used in India. Surki is an artificial pozzolana made by powdering bricks or burnt clay balls. In some major works for large-scale production of surki, clay balls are specially burnt for this purpose and then powdered. By its nature, it is a very complex material differing widely in its quality and performance. Being derived from soil, its characteristics are generally influenced by the constituent mineral composition of soil, degree of burning, and fineness of grinding. Because of the complexity of the problem, there has been much confusion on account of contradictory results obtained by various research workers. This is surki. Next is ground granulated blast furnace slag. It is a non-metallic product consisting essentially of silicates and aluminates of calcium and other bases. The molten slag is rapidly chilled by quenching in water to form a glassy sand-like granulated material. The granulated material, when further grounded to less than 45 micron, will have a specific surface of about 400 to 600 square meter per kilogram. The performance of slag largely depends on the chemical composition, glass content, and fineness of grinding. So, there are two methods for making blast furnace slag. In the first method, blast furnace slag is interground with cement clinker along with gypsum. The second method, it is separately ground and then mixed with the cement. And the basic, it will reduce the water consistency necessary to obtain the slump, the reduction, means it reduce heat of hydration, refinement of pore structure, reduced permeabilities to the external agencies, increased resistance to chemical attack. So plasticiers, superplasticiers and air draining admixture is most commonly used. Superplasticiers is widely used all over the world. India is catching up with the use of superplasticiers in the construction of high-rise building, long-span bridges, etc. because it reduced cement content, increased workability and increased strength. So admixtures has become an important ingredient in concrete. So thank you. So what we will do is that this is the admixture part. So if we are having online classes, we will again explain it with using the PPT. So now I am sending this to you to study. So go through these portions, okay, and take care.